Dialogue is extremely important. Now, you've been around long enough to know what are some of the key elements of a good dialogue.
Listen to let the other one speak.
Listen and let the other one speak. Good.
Honesty.
So are you going to listen to her speak on and on?
Oh God, I
Go around that bush?
It gets tired of me.
All right. So listen to the other person. And in the listening, try to put yourself into the shoes of the other person. Listen interpathically. Not just sympathetically or empathetically, but interpathically. Where you really put yourself into that other person. Where is it coming from? What's going on with that person? Knowing her culture is very different than mine. And, okay, so good dialogue. What else is necessary for good dialogue?
Honesty.
Honesty. What else? Come on, a little faster. We got so much to do this afternoon.
Look the other in the eye.
What's that?
Look the other in the eye.
Well, that might be a little threatening. But if you're looking the other person in the eye with a sense of kindness and compassion, and I want to hear what you're saying, okay. But sometimes we may try to stare the person down.
Oh, I don't mean that.
Oh, I hope not. I knew you didn't mean that.
Vulnerability.
Vulnerability. Very good.
Which I think requires trust. So
Trust. Good. Trust.
We have to also clearly express our confusion about the situation.
Yes, and try to put, it's my lack of understanding. I don't understand it. It's not because you're confusing, or it's not because you didn't explain it well. I just didn't get it. I'm the one, that's kind of the vulnerability you were talking about.
Speaking in I terms,
Yes, using I. Accepting.
I think it also means a suspension of judgments.
Yes. If you come to the table with your judgment, your decision already made, don't waste the time. So you come to the table willing to be changed. I don't come with the whole truth. I might have some of it the truth, but I don't have the whole truth.
But not all cultures talk in I terms.
That's right.
It's my friend, it's my family. The I doesn't come out till a different part of when people are speaking.
That's right. Also, they may not be able to talk to you directly.
Right.
They may need a third person to be there in the conversation, which is maybe kind of foreign to us, because after all, I know what I'm thinking, and I don't need to go through somebody else. But the other culture may need that. So I have to be open to that. Open-mindedness. So all of those qualities are needed for good dialogue. Now, if we have a good dialogue, what's going to happen? There's going to be understanding. There's going to be cultural understanding. I'm going to know where you're coming from. I may not always agree with all of it, but I know where you're coming from. If I don't have understanding, I'm not going to go very far. And then once there's cultural understanding, what follows? Appreciation. I like the way you think. I like the way you go around in circles. So, has she ever come to be able to say that to you? Not yet, huh? Maybe we might get to that point. Appreciation. Because that's essential if you're going to understand the other person. Essential. But you can't appreciate if you don't know. Okay, after appreciation comes what? Okay, we can build a good relationship here. You get tired of serving ice cream. That was something they were attempting when they moved into a new culture, to kind of get to know people. And after 3 or 4 years, they got tired of it, so they took their ice cream and went home. So the need to build a relationship is key in intercultural work. Because if you don't have a relationship, they'll say C, but go right on and do what they want. Well, you may not think. You might say, well, they're agreeing with me, so it's going to work. It might take you a while. But yes, that relationship is key. Then what's needed after establishing a good cultural relationship?
Communication.
Okay, intercultural communication. And that's not always easy. That's pretty hard sometimes. And we'll take a little bit on that. But once you get that, you're able to communicate with the other culture. And you both understand what's going on. You're going to need language, you're going to need understanding of the culture, appreciation of the culture. Then what are you going to have? What's the result? Intercultural living. Intercultural living. And that's what we're striving for. Now, if we're looking at vocations, we don't only have the interculturality there that we're struggling with, but we also have the intergenerational issues. Right? Yes. And what are some of those issues? What do you think would be some of the intergenerational issues?
This is the way we always did it.
Yeah, it's proven itself. This is the way, this is the way we do it. We do it this way. So what are you really doing when you say that? You're not open. You're closing the door to communication. You're closing the door to another way of thinking, to another culture's ideas. What else?
One of the things I would hear were stories of the glory days. and it gave probably an unintended message that the best days were already behind us.
Okay. Do you think that's true?
Yes.
Oh, I think it's very true. Very, very true. Oh, those are good old days. And we were just talking about that. If you're going back to Guatemala, even as hard as they were, those were the good old days. That ain't gonna be true. It has changed. Plus, you have changed. And so, as a congregation, if you want to stay with those good old days, you will not have people join you. They may join, but they will not stay. So that means there has to be a real, what? A change of mentality, a real shift. And who has to do that shift?
We do.
We do. I'm glad you're owning it. We do. How can you do that? What does that mean? What's it going to mean for you to make that shift? Just take a moment of quiet and think, okay, if we are really going to live intergenerationally, what does that mean for me?